listening to the Cavalier Connection podcast. Here are your hosts, Jeff Lowe, Jay Ballard, and Jack Lowe.
Welcome, another edition of the Cavalier Connection podcast. We're wrapping up 2025 with a banger. We hope all of you are enjoying your New Year's Eve day right now. Maybe you're watching and listening to us during the Virginia Tech game right now, or maybe after. Maybe this is your little thing you listen to right before the ball drops in New York City, and you're kind of closing out 2025 that way. We hope you are. We hope you've had a happy holidays, as Virginia not only are bowl champions, but had one quite heck of a 2025 season. How are we doing tonight, Jay and my dad, Jay?
Doing great. Ready to roll out of 2025 right into 2026.
Do we have any big plans, any adventures you want to go on 2026, Jay? What's the whole what are we doing here for the new year?
Well, okay, so no, short answer. But I did invest in a Whoop. Are you familiar with Whoop?
No.
It is like a health band that you wear. Or it's like a bracelet or whatever.
Like a
I'm getting old, and so I can get an EKG at any point.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
And it tells you like when your stress level's high. So I'm gonna have that on during Virginia games at all times.
Oh,
I have it on all the time.
Listen,
but, it'll be interesting to see how my stress level rises during the big moments in Virginia games.
Yeah, Jay, we talked about this, me and my dad, because I wear unsponsored but Fitbit. I wear my Fitbit all the time, and during the Virginia games, and I tell you, especially from a game we're going to mention later tonight, man, watching my heart rate levels during the games, it's dangerous. I mean, I'm talking, my heart rate is averaging in the 120s and the 130s just in the middle of a game. So I get your stress levels. What about Dad? How you doing? What are we doing to celebrate the new year? You have big plans to go out New Year's Eve?
Big plans. We don't want Shannon to see my plans, so I won't talk about it. But no, Jay, we need to get that. We need to be able to do live watching you the game like Chuck did with the racing.
Yeah,
the B&H racing.
The harness.
Have you hooked to the heart rest?
Yeah,
and watching the game, and you just commentate during the game and watch your stress
little
level.
side screen with my health
right.
numbers. My EKG is gonna be going crazy. Get the defibrillators ready, boys.
Right, that's right. Listen, Jack, my plan for 2026 is I just hope to make it through it. If I'm alive at the end of it, it's a good thing. So
well, then 2025 was a success then, huh?
Well, it's almost finished as a success. We still have one more day left. You don't take any days for granted. So but 2025 was a great year in Virginia sports, football especially, and looking forward to 26. I'm excited for this basketball team, excited to see what the baseball team is going to do. And we know here in just a week or so, the football portal's going to be rocking and rolling, and we'll get to see who our new team's going to be.
That's right, and I'm glad you mentioned don't take a day for granted, because I want Virginia fans to know don't take this football season for granted too. Listen, I'm a believer in this program and this coaching staff to continue the success, but you just never know when it's going to fall flat again like it always has been. So let's enjoy this season. Enjoy the moment you're feeling right now, Virginia fans, coming off of a bowl win that hadn't happened since 2018. But we figured what better way to wrap up 2025 than to go back through the football season and recap the top moments all year long. So, and here's the thing, Jay, you mentioned this to me because I was trying to rank these games or these highlights and moments, and it's just so hard. There's so many good ones, and you're right. This season was so good, we couldn't have a top 10. We have the 11 best plays of the 2025 season because it's kind of an honorable mention, but we'll rank him number 11. Not even an honorable mention. We'll give him a number 11. Yeah. And so we're really excited to react. We hope you all enjoy reacting, reliving these moments with us as, man, it was an unbelievable season. So I think we're going to jump right into it. Number 11, or your honorable mention. A great play. I guess it just didn't jump off the paper like some of these other plays, but in a game that was really important at the time in order to get ourselves to Charlotte and put ourselves in a good position. Here is Jamari Taylor with a very deep touchdown run off the pitch in Durham.
3rd down and 2. Option pitch. Taylor with a cutback. Jamari Taylor's off to the races. And Virginia is steamrolling in this one. 78 yards.
Jay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a great one, and that was the one that kind of sealed that game. I mean, we were up big anyway, but I'm not going to lie, a little bittersweet seeing the Duke on the helmet,
Yep,
seeing Duke and Virginia on the field there. So I understand why that was an honorable mention, but heck of a play from Taylor, and Chandler Morris was a part of that as well.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I don't know if the way we handled Duke that game led to us sleepwalking through the first half against Duke in the ACC championship. It shouldn't have, but an awesome play, and man, it was a great feeling to see for sure.
One of the most complete games the Hoos played all year. They played so well from start almost to finish. Had a couple hiccups at the end, but I mean, overall, offensively, defensively was outstanding. It was good to see Jamari Taylor get going as well. And people forget Chandler Morris was not 100% to play in that game. Nobody knew until kickoff if he was playing or not.
Yep.
To see the offense explode like that, man, it was a lot of fun. But number 10 is a very fun play because it's crazy to think how long ago the season opener was. I mean, it feels like forever ago, August the 30th, when the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers came into Charlottesville and Scott Stadium. And the game was already over by this point, but this play kind of accelerated your hope. Like, oh man, look at we're making plays like this. Guy by the name that transferred out of James Madison, Cam Ross, took this kick all the way back.
And put together a drive like that.
You got Charleston Southern and East Carolina, their next two before going into Sun Belt play, opening up at South Alabama. Ross on the return. Watch out. He's got great speed. He's got the kicker beat. What a night for Cam Ross. Welcome to Charlottesville, young man.
How about Mr. Cam Ross there, Dad?
Yeah, we heard all off season the name they were all mentioning out of spring practice and fall camp was Cam Ross. Cam Ross, what an electric player he's going to be, and boy, he didn't disappoint in that first game. Man, that was fun. I was excited. I was like, these guys can't punt to this guy. Don't kick to him.
Yeah, one thing I noticed, if you watch that video, you'll notice all those empty seats along the bottom, that by the end of the year, those seats are packed.
That's
which
a great point.
Just kind of showcases the change. If just think about that as we get into some of these later clips with games later in the season, all those empty seats, and then what it looks like later in the year is pretty amazing.
That's a great point, Jay, and we'll have some more of those, yeah, for sure. Coming up next, with the next clip, I've got to mention, I meant to mention this at the beginning. We'll play a little bit of a game here. As I mentioned, there's 11 clips. Just obviously, you guys already know, but for those of you listening at home, how many clips do you think involved Cam Robinson on this list? I mean, the guy, you're going to see him multiple times in this video, in this podcast. You're going to hear him multiple times because, I mean, my goodness, this guy was outstanding all year long, making game-changing plays. Here was what we thought would be a game-changing play. Unfortunately, could not result in a victory.
One of the more dangerous returners in the conference. It's blocked. They got it. It was snuffed out and recovered at the 23-yard line by Virginia.
Cam Robinson blocking the Wake punt to open the game. All the electricity in the stadium, the loud crowd pop. I mean, the amount of belief in that building. Unfortunately, Virginia could not get it done, but ultimately it didn't matter in their journey to get into Charlotte. Dad, you were there in person. I always mention to you, that crowd was loud for that, huh?
It was. And first of all, when you first hear that clip, once again, they're talking about the dangerous punt returner and Cam Ross, as they said every game. If he could have picked that ball up, if that thing would have hopped in his hands, he took it to the house, we might win that game. I mean, what a game, what a block that was. And when that happened, I mean, like you said, the place erupted. I thought, here we go. We're about to take.
I thought it looked like a scoop and score. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a scoop and score, and then, it just wasn't. But you got to think, what's Wake Forest doing there? Like, you got one guy on the Virginia defense that you have to know where he's at, and you have to block him, and he comes untouched. Like, how does that happen to Wake Forest? But yeah, they got the W against us that night. Chandler Morris goes down, another big reason I think we lost that game.
Yep.
But
Yep.
ultimately, like you said, Jack, really didn't matter in the big scheme of things.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to lead us into number 8. So you mentioned games earlier in the season, Jay, seeing not as many people at the games. And this was another one of those, playing against William and Mary, where a record was set by Mr. Harrison Waylee, 97 yards.
I feel for the young man.
Yeah,
because
I do
Isaiah
too.
Lamont is one of their stars.
Absolutely.
Here's Harrison Waylee. Watch out. Waylee in a track meet. 30, 20, touchdown, 97 yards.
Harrison Waylee with an outstanding 97-yard, the longest rushing touchdown in Virginia history. And again, I'm going to mention this again just because, man, that feels like so long ago when Virginia played William and Mary. It was also a day game. Virginia had so many night games this year at home. And, obviously not as big of a crowd for that one. But how big of a moment, even if the game's over, for Waylee to get some confidence like that, Jay?
Yeah, it's nothing like long touchdowns are just fun. And when you get one that's like not anything anything close to that, but 97 yards is unbelievable. And then, you had John Freeman predicting before the game started the ball hawk 97-yard touchdown in the game, and then it happened, and ball hawk was like, oh my God, what's this guy? It's like a Nostradamus.
Dad.
Yeah. No, only game I missed this year at home. And what a run that was. Pretty exciting. Poor coach Mike London over there, having to watch that happen to him. And as I watched that, it also makes me think about that stupid fantasy football game I lost last night in the Cavalier Connection League when Bijan Robinson busted a 93-yarder to put me away.
And we'll get more into that at the end, of course. But yeah, such a fun play from Waylee. And, it's just memory. Thinking back to that early in the season, like we had some hope at that, but this is before the Florida State game. We had some hope at that point of the season. We had the NC State loss, but there was still a lot of hope around the program. We didn't know quite where we would be headed. We didn't know we'd be going to the ACC championship. It's just fun to think back to those fall days where, all we have is hope and we just don't know where the program's going to go. And obviously an explosive win over William and Mary. Following the William and Mary game, though, that leads us into our next clip, number 7, a very big matchup on September the 26th when the Florida State Seminoles came into town. This isn't the only clip from that game, but a very big stop when Florida State was on the verge of scoring by Mr. Jason Prevard.
Play action. Castellano. Tip ball. Intercepted. Prevard on the blitz. Got the tip in the pick.
Man, what a magical night that was at Scott Stadium. And a couple of things I want to say. Number one, obviously, Prevard's hitting the portal. He's going to end up somewhere else. But no matter where he goes, you can't take that play away from him and how impactful that was. Florida State was dominating, cruising down the field on that drive, and making a play like that to shut them down was huge. And again, I don't care what Florida State's record ended up being at the end of the season. The amount of impact that game left impacted the rest of the season. From then being ranked number 9 at the time of that game, I don't care what you say. That's still such a huge moment, Jay.
Yeah, that was huge. That was one of the most fun games I've been to. And thank you. If Jeff got the tickets, and then UVA was there handing us tickets down into the lower level from the upper level. So we were right down there at the action. And then I just remember, because Jayton was at the game, and I remember saying to him early on, we're going to be on that field tonight. We're going to be on that field tonight. And what a play there. I mean, that was a momentum changer. And it was a big one.
Yeah, definitely a momentum changer. And, where we were sitting was amongst the Florida State faithful. And, man, it's rough for them. It was a great night. And that was a huge play, like Jack said, to change the momentum. Yeah. And, I mean, Jay, I don't think we sat down that night.
No. That was one of those rare ones where And we had a lot of talking Florida State fans around us.
Right.
I did not expect after the game for them to be like congratulatory.
Yeah.
Because they were kind of jerks during the game.
Yeah. But then also, and we don't have a picture of this one, but that's what the Mason was fired up and had his shirt off, waving his shirt in the stands too as well. So fun stuff.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about this later in the list because we do have at least one more clip from that game. But just thinking back to that night, like what a crazy night that was. Really the first, big crowd. I mean, yeah, there were okay crowds before that. That was the first big crowd at Scott Stadium this year where you're talking in the 50s of thousands of people. Crowd was electric all night. And then obviously, what happened, the result. It's crazy. Again, it's crazy to think how long ago this was and how early in the season, how young the season was and how much hope we had ahead of us. But moving on to number 6, might be my favorite game of the year. I don't know. The Florida State win was great, but it's always great when you're scoring touchdowns against Hokies. And Mr. Chandler Morris had quite the maneuver to get into the end zone for this one, number 6.
Morris the key. Got away from Stevens. Put in the ground. Chandler Morris.
My sources are telling me that Hokie defender still is lost. He's looking for a map. Somebody needs to help him out. Somebody help a brother out. But, man, how about Chandler Morris making the juke move? Virginia Tech can't touch him, can't lay a finger, and that touchdown ultimately put the game away, Dad.
Yeah, it looked like me crossing Europe on the basketball court.
Oh, man, where'd you get that from?
But, dang, man, that nothing like hitting them with the whoop, whoop, and off to the end zone. So, like you said, Jack, anytime we're scoring against Virginia Tech, it's a highlight.
Yeah, beating Virginia Tech's got to be the even though they were a bad team this year, they could be.
I don't care. I don't care.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. I took a lot of joy in that one. So that touchdown put the game really on ice. And then after that, it was just kind of fun seeing if we were going to be able to hold the shutout. We didn't, but man, what a fun night that was. And we didn't go to jail, and we didn't send anybody to jail. So I guess that's good.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, that is also not the last time you will see that Virginia Tech game on this list. You will see another one here before too long. And it's always interesting ranking some of these highlights because some of them are just, outstanding plays, but then other of them impacted like a game-winning play or whatever. Coming up next at number 5 was a game-winning play. Might be the first of its kind. We're talking about a game-winning safety from none other than Cam Robinson against Washington State.
Safety. I think he just did get the tip of the football on it. Oh, they call it a safety. It looked like.
Yeah, he knocked that run out quick.
Yeah. Wow.
You see them come through right there. Just tell them to cut the fat off the edge.
Oh, it's because the ball came loose. That's a reason it's a safety. Voorhees hit.
So this is another one of those wonky games where Virginia kind of came out slow, didn't really have it going, and then once we got to this fourth quarter against Washington State, you have the long drive first. I think a 13-play drive or something like that, and then you get the safety. To win the game, none other than Cam Robinson. What a moment that was, Jay.
Yeah, that was in that middle stretch of the season where we struggled, I think, a lot. We were like an 18.5 point favorite, maybe 16.5, 18.5, somewhere in there against Washington State. And they had just been the doors blown off of them by some teams. Now, they actually went on and had some decent games. They barely lost to Ole Miss the week before us.
They barely lost to Ole Miss the week before. Actually,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said the week before us, and then but they went on and had some decent wins after us as well. But that was kind of an unexpected game to be that tight, and so you just felt like, oh my God, thank God we pulled it out because you don't want to waste what you did at Louisville, you know, and Florida State and everything before that.
There's a moment where in that game it's like, oh God, here we go again. The season's we're going off the cliff.
Yeah.
And then you just find a way to win the game. And that's what Virginia did all year long. And dang, that was huge. That was right down there on our end. I mean, all I could do was shake my head and celebrate. I mean, just as relieved as could be.
Oh yeah.
It would start what people like to call the cardiac calves or the cardiac coups. And we had multiple games finished like that, where normally that's the type of name we give to the basketball team. I mean, throughout my entire life, we were playing some cardiac calves like basketball games under Bennett. Now we're getting the football team involved. Now, coming up next at number 4 is a clip from another game where we were on the road. I don't know about on the ropes, but we were very close to losing in that middle portion of the season. But yet again, Cam Robinson making a game-winning play. This is the game against Cal.
Over on downs.
To Cal, no timeouts. A low snap starts the drive. Ball over the middle, and the game is over. Virginia with a takeaway. Not satisfied just to get the pick, but instead to get the pick 6. And Cam Robinson takes it to the end zone.
We're still trying to figure out exactly what Cam Robinson said to that cheerleader, but regardless of what he said, he got the pick 6. It was a game winner, and Virginia went on victorious against Cal. Jay?
Yeah, that was one of those games. Like, I was highly concerned because Cal has an outstanding quarterback.
Salapua, that guy?
Pagatul. Well, yeah, I'm not even gonna try.
Like that.
But yeah, he outstanding quarterback, and we just really shut them down almost all day. They scored on that trick play where we bit. But other than that, we played a really good game defensively there, and you know, we had just gone for it on 4th down to ice the game and didn't get it. And so Cal had a chance to go down and kick a field goal to tie it late, but Cam came up with that play, and you know, the rest was history.
Yeah, teams in the past, we go for that 4th down, we don't get it. They end up going down and scoring on us. And you know, the smart thing for Cam to do right there would have been, of course, to get down. But there's the piece of me that was also thinking, man, 31-21 looks better than 24-21. If
Right.
we get in the end zone, we're not going to lose this game here.
No, we're not losing.
I'm not mad about it one bit.
No.
But I thought that the Cal game, the defense, that's when the defense I really thought made the turn. Because, you know, the secondary, what we were giving up earlier in the year, we were giving up a ton. You know, the NC State game, Florida State got their share on us. But Louisville, we played pretty good on defense.
Yeah.
And but I thought after that, from that Cal game on, I thought the defense, boy, it was a whole different look to them.
Yeah.
The first half of the season was dominated by offense, but the defense was the concern. The second half completely flipped.
Yep.
Coach Rudd was outstanding. That defense was unbelievable in the second half of the season, and you got to give so many flowers to that staff and the players on that defensive side. But going back to the offensive side, before we go back to the defensive side, number 3, I want to tee this up as Virginia from the start, from the Coastal Carolina game, was running this direct snap all season long. They were doing it every single game. It was successful. 3rd and short, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, 4th and short. They kept being successful with it all season long. Not once did they change the direct snap to be a pass. You know who they saved that one for, Jay?
Oh, yeah.
They saved it for the Hokies of Virginia Tech. We mentioned we'd be coming back to this game. Here is Jamari Taylor getting his sole passing touchdown of the year to a tight end that's now declaring for the NFL draft, Sage Ennis.
So much to him.
You think direct snap? Right, this is where it is. Usually direct snap to Jamari Taylor.
Seen it once already. Direct snap. Jamari Taylor's going to throw it. He floats it. Touchdown, St. Ennis.
I kept talking to my dad in the second half of the season, all season long. When are they going to throw out of it? We knew at some point they were bound to throw out of that direct snap. Why not save it for the team we want to beat the most and score that second touchdown? That put a big smile on my face, Dad.
Yeah, no, we did talk about that. At some point, they're gonna throw it. And now knowing the outcome of the Virginia Tech game, how much of the blowout it was, there's a little piece of me kind of wishes, of course I said at the time, let's kick the extra point. But in that Duke ACC championship game, maybe we run that as a 2-point conversion to win the game with a little pass over the top.
Yeah, that would have been something.
Jay,
Yeah, that was one that that was right there in front of us, and 7-0. The Hokie fans were still talking. When it got to 14-0, it's like that shut the chirping down just a little bit, because then it's like, oh God.
That put a big smile on my face seeing that play. It was a great play. All the Hokies were confused on the defensive line. All of them were gunning for Jamari Taylor. Didn't realize Sage Ennis went out for the pass. And, man, what a great play. What a great game that was. That is the last clip from that Virginia Tech game. I just want to reflect one more time.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. That was an incredible game. That was a lot of fun, man, and this whole season was too. But getting to whip up on Virginia Tech like that. Number 2, you guys, or I think Jay mentioned the Louisville game a couple times. We're going to go to that Louisville game, our only clip. There's a couple of great plays from that Louisville game, but why not get at least one more clip from Cam Robinson when he made a game-changing pick 6?
So it sets up 3rd down and 10. Pressure came, delayed on Moss, and he is sacked. Threw it away, and that ball's intercepted. Cam Robinson runs it back. Now, was Miller Moss down?
Yes, he was down.
For now, it's a pick 6.
No, he was not down.
No, he was not down. Miller Moss was not down. But people forget, obviously the Florida State win was huge, but people forget how important that Louisville game was. Louisville was undefeated at the time. I don't even remember were they favored in that? I feel like Louisville was favored.
Louisville was about a 7-point favorite, if I remember.
Yeah,
Correct.
Louisville was favored by a touchdown, more than a touchdown. And this is a huge game, momentum boosting, and Cam Robinson making a play like that, and a terrible play by quarterback Miller Moss. But we take advantage. Cam Robinson takes advantage of the mistake, and nobody was going to catch him. He offered. We talked about what he said to the cheerleader. He also offered up the ball to a fan, took it away. You love to see it out of Cam Robinson, Dad.
Yeah. Before the season, when we were going through our predictions, and we were looking at that stretch, Florida State, Louisville, and you're just hoping if you can get one of those two, it's a great stretch. And doggone it, we got them both. And like Jay said, I think we were about 7.5 point underdogs in that game. Went right to Louisville. Their fans had been chirping on X a little bit, and
A lot.
they kind of got shut up quite a bit.
Well, I think they're
the rest
still
of the
chirping
way.
to this day, actually.
Yeah, I would say too in that game, I would say there's 2 plays from that game that would be in my top 3 honorable mentions that we're not including in this episode. One is the Donovan Platt touchdown that was open the scoring. We had 2 defensive touchdowns in that game. The scoop and score on the fumble put us up 7-0. And then Chandler Morris gets hurt, big run in overtime, gets us down there, and the direct snap where Kalen comes in, fakes. I think he faked like the snap was bad, and we go on in and score the winning touchdown there at Louisville. So that was both great plays in that game. That Louisville game was a lot of fun. Although I think that actually was the beginning of us not playing as well. We didn't play particularly well against Louisville. We still managed to win because we got 2 defensive touchdowns. That just doesn't happen often. But in a special year, you're going to have a game or 2 like that where you need some things to go right to get that win. And special season, we got that happen to happen for us.
And one thing about
win. Go ahead.
I'll say one thing about Chandler Morris, though, and that's not the only time he did that, but that guy, he's a gamer. Sometimes he makes bad decisions health-wise because he wants to win so bad. But, boy, he's like, man, I'm going to go win this game right now, because he had not played very well that day.
Right.
And in that overtime, that run was something special, and he got hurt. I'm like, oh, God, but we're going to get the win. So, but, yeah, that's definitely a good one to mention as well.
Yeah, for sure. But that Louisville win was very impactful. And like you said, you just find a way to win. They found a way to win. They got 2 defensive touchdowns, which, again, does not happen very often at all. That ended up being as well as people forget how impactful that is for tiebreakers, because for the ACC, with how crazy it was, common opponents are used, strength of schedule was used. That win against Louisville, if we don't get that, I don't think we make it to Charlotte. So
No,
that
we don't.
ended up being really impactful. But we're going to get to the almighty number one. I bet you can guess what it is. We mentioned we were going to go back to the Florida State game, and we are. A two-parter to this. Number one, a great play by Mr. Jason Brevard to get the game-winning interception against Florida State. And number two, some would say the quickest field rush in college football history. Here it is, the final play. That is our number one play, which, by the way, is our final Mentors moment of the year. Mentors, go check out Mentors at Stonefield or at the corner. You can get all your needs, hoodies, jerseys, T-shirts, jackets, anything you may need from Mentors, your beanies. It's getting cold out there. Go check them out online at Mentors.com or Stonefield Shopping Center or the corner. This is our final Mentors moment of the year, the Florida State Field Rush.
There's your they're nice fans right there, Jay.
Yeah.
But listen, I could sit here and watch that video all day long and not get bored. I mean, how impactful. Again, I mentioned it earlier, but I've got to say it again. I don't care what Florida State's record ended up being at the end of the season. I don't care that they weren't ranked. I don't care. When you have a number 9 team in the country coming into town, it doesn't matter. They had just beaten Alabama. They're at the highs of highs. You're playing against the big bad Thomas Castellanos, who's talking a lot of trash before the game. I didn't really mention this on air before, but I heard Florida State players chirping at Virginia players on the field pregame. Like 2 hours before the game, there's Florida State players coming on the field chirping at Virginia players. You have number 9 in the country at your house. You have the opportunity to do something so huge on Friday night. So the whole country's watching one of the most watched Friday night games all year long to do something big. And Virginia did it. And not to mention, man, the fans got on the field very quickly. Jay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I wish if I could have put the camera on my arm watching it, even now, I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
It just brings back a lot of good memories. Something I'll never forget being there, getting to experience that with my boy too, and Jeff and Mason, and just one of those things that you look back on and 20 years from now we'll still be talking about that and watching the clip and still getting goosebumps because how often does something like that happen? Huge play, Brevard, hate to see him enter the portal, understand it, hate to see it, but just a great number 1 play for the season, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to be put right back in that spot right now. That was so much fun. And that video is obviously from where we were sitting at. And dang, man. When we were going back home from the game, and I'll never forget, Jayton said to you, he said, I don't remember the exact wording, but he said, Dad, what did he say?
Never been much of a football fan.
I've never been a big football fan, but now I don't remember what his exact.
I might have a spark.
Yeah, that's it. There was a spark. He said, "I got a spark." That game gave me a spark. I thought it was the quote of the night. Boy, that thing was cool, and the kids were all over the field. I'm talking about Mason and Jayton, and we were on the field like we were teenagers again, running around, and man. That was fun. That was so fun.
And the cops weren't worried about getting you off quick like they were at the Virginia Tech field charge.
Yeah.
You had crazy college students on the goalpost trying to get it down like in the old days. They were trying to carry that bad boy right on up the hill.
Oh yeah.
As we have seen back in the 90s, that goalpost exits the stadium.
I know it. Man.
I'll say this as well. For those of you who don't know, when you're in the press box for a game, there's typically no cheering. You're not. It's just not professional or whatever. I'm not going to name any names or any organization, but I can tell you right now, there was some cheering in the press box, and I was like, I have never seen some of these people with so much emotion over Virginia game like I did that night. That's when you know how big of a moment it was for Virginia to do this. And that sparked it. That like Jayton, it created a spark. Virginia was ranked number 25 in the country, I think, on Sunday morning when they came out with the new AP poll, and that's when it started. And now you're looking at a Louisville game where you're a 7.5-point dog going into it, and then you're looking at, well, hold on a second, our only loss is to NC State. It didn't even count as a conference loss. And now you're looking at a road to Charlotte. That was the turning point of the season. And I said this in the moment. I will say it again. That was the turning point of this program under Coach Tony Elliott.
And then you went, and then I know we fell short in the ACC championship game, and that stung at the time. But to go and beat Missouri in that Gator Bowl, that was a big deal. I mean, I know 100%. We make the playoff. I don't know. It's a big deal to make the playoff for sure. I don't know if we win a game or not, but to go win a postseason game, and you see the momentum this program has, and we hope that with the portal – that this will continue, and with guys who are already announcing today they're coming back.
McKeelan Thomas being a big one, getting him to come back for another year.
Also
Drake Metcalf.
Yeah, Drake Metcalf. So he's coming back now.
Oh, too. I didn't see that one.
He just announced that one. Just got announced probably a couple hours ago. That's
okay.
2 offensive linemen. We're going to go in the portal and add.
Hopefully. Kid from Texas will come back if he can.
I think that I'm not so sure. I think Boley might be back too.
We could be. So this brings me to my final point, Jack. And I don't know if you were going to ask us for final thoughts, but I'm going to give you my final thoughts for the year because we're kind of running long. It's a year of change, and that goes across the athletic program as a whole. We Bennett went out in 24, and then Sanchez came on and did the best he could with that crew, but we transition now to Coach Odom in basketball. In baseball, we saw Coach O'Connor leave. Now we got Coach Pollard, and he appears to be doing just an outstanding job bringing in recruits and transfers, and I think baseball is going to be a national championship contender as well. And then the change in football was just the change in culture and my mentality from, as Chandler Morris said when he first had his first press conference, I didn't come here to win 5 or 6 games. So the change is we're not going to be a bottom-dwelling program anymore. Like the standard, and I don't know if y'all watched Coach Elliott's post-game locker.
I watched it. It was outstanding.
Outstanding. Great stuff. If you haven't seen it, go find it on YouTube.
I feel like I could suit up and go play for him right now after watching something like that.
Yeah, but it is the beginning of the program. You set a standard this year. Are you going to win 11 games every year? Probably not, but the standard is set, and next year's schedule isn't daunting. I mean, there's losable. They're all losable, right? But again, you can really see a path that this team next year is looking at Charlotte again, possibly look at playoffs, potential again. And, it's just exciting to think that this program that we have loved for our entire lives is finally at a point, I think, where we want them to be, where they're consistently winning and putting into the program the necessary resources to be a constant contender, not a contender once every 5-10 years.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Jay.
Yeah, I would say, how about them Who's? 11 wins. 11 wins. Holy cow, man. What a fun season. Jay, there's a good old church song out there called Precious Memories. And that's, you look at all these highlights. What's that? How they linger.
How they linger.
and you look at these highlights, and man, what a year it was. From I don't know if we started the last weekend in August, first weekend in September. I can't remember, but every Saturday was so much fun. I don't rush time, and I'm enjoying basketball. But boy, I can't. When that last game ended, though, and I was like, "Dang, man, we're done till August."
Yeah.
I can't wait for that again. I'm ready to go ahead. I know my tickets are auto renew. I can go right in there right now and just push the button like I'm back. As Jordan said, I'm back. I'm back. It was fun, a lot of fun, and I appreciate it. And when you compare, you talk about Tony Elliott, and you wrote the article about this, Jay. You could have a coach just going place to place. You look at Lane Kiffin, and he's won where he went, but is he really winning? He ain't won no national titles, but
No.
we got a coach in here who's developing these men, and he's running it the right way. You're not going to get the Michigan coach, Sharon Moore. You're not going to get these stories coming out of. If I did, I would fall out. Like, I don't believe it for a second. So
Right.
You got a clean program. You're running a clean program. You got guys who want to play for you. There's character, there's team building, and we should be thankful for that. And he's got us going in the right direction. So is he the best coach in the country? No, but he's the best for this university, I think. I mean, we got to appreciate what we got.
Well said.
100%. Well said. Well said. Yeah. Unbelievable season, ranging all the way back from August. And like my dad said, I can't wait. Listen, think back to the last 2 years. Shoot, you could say the last 3 years, but I specifically say the last 2 years. The end of the season, demoralizing losses to Virginia Tech. 2 years ago, you had them come into our house. They blew us out. Last year, obviously, at Blacksburg, we got blown out. And then, obviously, 3 years ago, you had the tragedy at the end of the season. And you think at the end of each of those seasons, man, we got to wait all the way until August. Like, obviously, you want to see the team, but that was just brutal into the season. Like, you could not end the season a worse way. And to finish off the season with a win, and I mentioned this in my recap of the bowl win a few nights ago, the playoffs would have been great. I'm not saying at all that I'm glad we didn't make the playoffs, but to be able to end on a win like that against a quality SEC team against Missouri, there's something to be said that is a even more impactful way to end the season than if you make the playoffs and maybe you get blown out. And maybe you do win. I don't know, but maybe you get blown out. Maybe you lose by a couple possessions in the first round. It's something to be said about ending on a win. Especially against Missouri. An unbelievable season for sure. I can't wait for 2026 and what that might bring. But for now, we're going to enjoy basketball. Like my dad said, we're going to enjoy baseball when it gets here in the spring. And but that's going to wrap us up tonight. You guys pretty much gave your final thoughts. But go check out thecavalierconnection.com for anything you may want to see article-wise and stuff. And maybe even more stuff coming to that before too long, as well as on X at Go Who's Podcast and YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all sorts of it at the Cavalier Connection. That's going to wrap us up tonight. That's going to wrap us up for 2025. We hope you had a good one. Make 2026 even better. Go Who's.
Go Who's.